Good afternoon, my name is Jamil Kumar and today I'm here to talk to you about the play Macbeth by William Shakespeare and why it is an example of great literature. Now the play originally starts with two Scottish generals, Macbeth and Banquo, encountering three witches. The witches make prediction about their future. Now, at first they ignore all these predictions, but then when they realize that the predictions are coming true, they decide to take notice of them. One of the predictions that was made was that Macbeth will be king, and now that Macbeth knows he can be king, he is filled with evil thoughts and decides to do whatever it takes to achieve power of every kingdom. So being told all these predictions, Macbeth then does what he has to do to make them come true, which is killing the current king, Duncan. He also eliminates his threats, which is Banquo and Macduff, but however, he got to Macduff a bit too late because Macduff escaped, but his family remained here, so Macbeth kills Banquo's family. Now Macduff, filled with vengeance, he runs off and joins Prince Malcolm, Duncan's son, to take down Macbeth. During the battle of Macbeth and Malcolm, Macduff and Macbeth meet. Macduff confesses that he was not born of a woman, his mother had a C-section. So that was one of the predictions that the witches made. So Macbeth realizes that he's doomed, but he still decides to fight. But Macbeth ends up dead, beheaded. Now this play is an example of great literature because of the critical commentary, the universal truth, and the conflict person versus self. So one of the critical commentaries made by the play Macbeth by Delana Bill was that Shakespeare obviously considered it of great importance for Macbeth to be present when the king's bloody body was found. So since Macbeth was the one who murdered King Duncan, Shakespeare felt like it was important for Macbeth to be there when they found his body. This would make him less of a suspect than he is, of course. So the scene would have been less effective without the presence of the guilt, and this made Shakespeare even more guilty, seeing the king's body found, knowing that he killed him. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the universal truth. The universal truth, this makes the play an example of great literature because it is seen, of course, throughout the play. And the universal truth that is portrayed many times in the play is guilt is not something you can escape from. So this is portrayed many times in the play. For an example would be when Macbeth is haunted by Banquo's ghost. So at the dinner table, when Macbeth is told to have a seat, he replies with the table is full, but the table is not full. He's imagining Banquo's ghost there. Now Macbeth is being haunted by Banquo's ghost is a symbol of guilt because Banquo's ghost is Macbeth's imagination created by guilt due to Macbeth sending murderers to kill Banquo. So when Macbeth was told that the job was done, he saw Banquo's. Macbeth being haunted by Banquo's ghost is a symbol of guilt. Banquo's ghost is Macbeth's imagination created by guilt due to Macbeth sending murderers to kill Banquo. When Macbeth was told the job was done, he saw Banquo sitting in his chair. Now, since there was nobody in his chair, the people at the table started to wonder why Macbeth was acting this way. The next reason to why this is an example of great literature is the person versus self conflict the author conveys in the play. This is effective and evidently shown throughout the play. Macbeth has to deal with his own ambitions and his own guilt. Here's a quote that shows Macbeth's person versus self conflict. Now, the previous quote that I just showed you shows Macbeth thinking about killing King Duncan and thinking about not killing King Duncan, and he's thinking about the consequences and how he can evade them. So Macbeth is having an inner battle within himself about what he should do or not. So lastly, Shakespeare's Macbeth is a great example of great literature because of the positive critical commentary, the universal truth, and the conflict person versus self. And overall, this was one of Shakespeare's darkest and most powerful tragedies.